So we have computed this prefix function. Now we will move on to the matcher where we will use this information we stored in this prefix function. So here is the matcher, guys. So it takes two inputs and then obviously we have this prefix function which is already there. So we have length of s which is stored in variable n, m takes length of p. We have already computed this prefix function over the pattern that is stored in pi. Q here stores the number of characters matched. We do have a for loop starting from 1 through n that scans s, your sequence or text from left to right. We will also do while loop over here, and the condition for that is that q should be greater than 0. So in case we have already have a match, so then we will go here. And what if we have a mismatch? So if p q plus 1 not equal to s of I, so in that case, if that next character does not match, we will put the value of pi of q at that particular index, which will be equal to q. For example, if we are doing it where we have q is equal to 1, so pi of 1, or what value we have, that we will put it in q. If the characters they match with one another, so then we will simply increment this q is equal to q plus 1. Remember, this q is storing the number of characters matched. So as soon as this q becomes equal to m, it means that all characters within the pattern they are matched. So it will print the occurrence of the pattern at position I minus m plus 1. And q will be reset with the pi of q, and then it will start looking for the next match. Let's execute that and understand how it goes. Okay guys, so let's understand this KMP stuff with execution. We have already got this prefix function pi, we computed earlier. All what we interested here is those values which are underneath those symbols. So pi is, for example, for symbol number 1, which was a, the pi was 0, and so on. So we initialize, we start with n, where we store the size of s, such space, or the sequence in which we are looking into this PR pattern. M stores the length of p, which is 7. So in step 1, or I is equal to 1, so we are comparing this s of I, which is s1, the first character in the sequence, with the pattern p of 1. Actually we do that while in the loops you look into it. So where we have the comparison, we have p of q plus 1. So in this case the q was 0, so it's 0 plus 1 1. So we compare both of their first characters. P1 does not match with S1, so P is shifted since we increment our I, and then this in the next step this P1 will be compared with S of I is equal to 2, so it will be shifted rightwards like this. In step 2, our I is equal to 2, so we are comparing S of 2 with P of q plus 1, which was 0 in this case. So do they match? Yes. So q gets incremented to 0 plus 1, so now q becomes 1. We go up, and now our p becomes 2, since q plus 1, 1 plus 1 becomes 2, and we then compare the second character. This was to just re-emphasize that if our p q plus 1 is equal to s of I, so that part of the algorithm I've just pasted just to tell you where this, why this q is being incremented. So it's because of this. Okay, so we compare the second character. Now in this step, our p of 2 will be compared with s of 3. Do they match? They don't. So what to do then? So we'll do backtracking. So we will look into, since our q will be then replaced by pi of 1, so at that time it will be 0, so it will not be shifted any further. So it will be simply p1 will be compared with s of 3. So since the third character, since I get incremented into 3, so p1 will be compared with s of 3, right? So we will move onwards. Again a mismatch. So what to do next? Do the same. So here I is equal to 4. In the previous, we see that Q was reset with the pi of Q. So at that time, now our Q becomes 0 again for the next step. So which is right here in step 4. So I is equal to 4, Q is equal to 0. Again, we compare P of Q plus 1 or the first character with the fourth character in the string. Do they match? They don't. What to do next? Again, Q is equal to 0 and we match with the fifth character. Do they match? Yes. So our Q becomes 1. Now we take I is equal to 6, Q was 1. So we will take P of Q plus 1, P of 2, second character in the pattern, and we compare with S of 6, which is the sixth character within the string or search. So Q becomes 2 because we have another match. Third match is Q becomes 3 in step 7. So I becomes 7, Q is equal to 2. Now Q becomes 3, which will be used in the next step. Again, T and T match, so Q becomes Q is equal to 4. In step 9, our Q is equal to 4. 4 plus 1, we are comparing the fifth character with S of ninth character in the string. And Q gets incremented to 5. Okay guys, so here we got another situation where P of 6 does not match with S of 10. So what to do then? We need to look down and look into this pi value. So we need to do backtracking. So backtracking on P, comparing P4 with S10. Because after mismatch, when we reset as per our algorithm, we reset the pi value at that particular Q. So at that particular Q, which was equal to Q was 5. So at that particular 5, we have the value which is actually this one. So right over here at that fifth location, we have pi value that was equal to 3. So we will use that pi value 3 and we will then move this and compare this P of 4, since that value becomes in the comparison we have that value which is added, so one value is added. So in that case we will compare this Q was reset to 3, so we will compare the fourth element with the 10th element. So in this way we will give our pattern these more shifts, 3 shifts towards the right. So that looks like this. So now our I is equal to 11. We are in the 11th step. Our Q was 4 right now. So we have those 4 characters which are matched. P6 matches with S12 same way up till we reach in the end and everybody gets matched. So our Q is equal to 6 right now. And after this step, last step, now Q becomes 7. So P7 matches with S13. Q is equal to 7, which is also equal to M. So in this way we have matched every character. So what to do next is print out that pattern P is found in S, and the total number of shifts it takes is 13 minus 7, 6 shifts, and at what location it is present if you look into the algorithm. So that was I minus M plus 1. So that is 13 minus 7 plus 1, which is equal to 7. So we have found the pattern at position number 7. This algorithm is has 2 parts of complexities. Number 1 is OM, where it computes the prefix function, so that is going over the pattern. And then ON is while we are comparing the pattern with the text. So in this case, we have 2 terms, and why we call it as a linear space algorithm, because we have a plus sign. So we have complexity which is M plus N. So in this case, this is the complexity. It's a linear space algorithm, which is fast and efficient, as it do not do the backtracking. And but we do have some drawbacks, as we have for every algorithm, that it does not work well if the size of alphabet increases, but still efficient than brute force approach. So it's a fast linear time algorithm for string matching, and that is more efficient than the brute force approach.